the next verse, now it changes a bit of the tone. It's a very cryptic verse, often quoted verse, very difficult to actually understand. There are some cryptic verses in the Bhagavad Gita. We've seen one in the second chapter itself, Nasato vidyate bhavaha. If you remember that that verse we saw before, that your homework is to go back and look at it. I'm not going to discuss it here, but this one is a bit similar as well. He says, Ya nisha sarva bhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato munehe. So this verse literally means, in that which is night for all beings, the one who is wise, who has mastery over oneself, is awake. So in that which is night for all beings, the wise one is awake. And the next line says, that in which beings are awake, in that state where beings are awake, is night for the wise one who sees. So very cryptic, right? What is Krishna trying to say here? So it doesn't mean while we are in this waking state, we're waking, that the enlightened person is sleeping. It's not that what it means. He's not sleeping during the day and awake at night. That's not what it means. And then we are sleeping at night and he's awake at night, right? It's not like that. But it is a characteristic of a wise person. Krishna is being very poetic here. Characteristic of a wise person, Siddha Purusha, one who is already accomplished. How does he behave in the world? So one thing we have to see, we have to understand, is that a wise person and the otherwise person, the ignorant person, will have to face the same situations in life. This is a fact. Just because they have jnanam doesn't mean all the problems vanish. It doesn't mean that all the unpleasant things which they have to face goes. They have to face the same situation. Right now, if there's enlightened beings in the world, they will have to live through COVID, right? So everybody has to face the same world. We cannot have a different world. So this is exactly what he's saying. What is the reaction of the wise person facing the world? And what is the reaction of the ignorant? Is comparing the wise person with the ignorant person. And he says it's only in the perception. The perception is different, okay? So Vedanta is how the study of Vedanta, the scriptures, what does it do? It helps you shift your perception in life. It doesn't change how the world functions. Vedanta doesn't make any change in the external world. It doesn't change any people in your life. Vedanta doesn't change anyone. It doesn't change anything in your outside external circumstances. What does it change? Your inner perception, the way you see the world, the way you handle the world, that is what changes. So the problems a jnani will have, he knows what? He knows this world cannot be a source of problem for him. That is the knowledge. Because it is mithya, this is the word, means it is not as real as it looks. All these things that we see for an enlightened person is not absolute reality. It is a dependent reality. It is not as real as it looks. All the things that we feel is so important, we feel this world is absolute reality. That is not what our Upanishads say or Vedanta says. This world is not absolute reality. There is a world, there is an absolute reality which lies under this seeming reality. This world is actually a seeming reality, but because of our vision, it is considered as absolute reality. That's why we suffer. That is what Bhagavan is saying here. If I see this world as absolute reality, then everything I face in the world, the people I meet and the problems, challenges I face, they become a source of sorrow for me. They become, they have the ability to trigger my emotions. They have the ability to cause me fear and pain and all the things I don't want, because I see it as absolute reality. But if you see it as a dependent reality, that it is not as real as you take it to be, if you can understand that everything in this world, it's called mithya, that is the word in Sanskrit, it is always changing. Nothing is permanent. If you see, it is always, 1 minute like this, 1 minute like that. The whole world is always in flux. It's always changing. Like the movie screen, if you see, when you see a movie, see all the scenes, right? They're coming, going. Sometimes it's a comedy, sometimes it's a nightmare, horror movie. So many different things are happening on the movie screen. But is the screen affected? That is the question. Is the screen ever affected by the movie that's projected on it? It is never affected. And that is what the reality is, that unaffected reality. This whole drama of life is projected on that unaffected reality, and it cannot touch. It cannot touch you. That is what this verse is talking about. So there's two ways of seeing this world. And this is again two ways of seeing the world. One is Dvaita Drishti, it's called, which is a vision of duality, where everything is other than you and the world. So you become like Swami Dayananda, my guru, used to say, as soon as we leave the house, we're ninja posture, me against the world, ready to fight with everything else. So the door opens and I'm ready, ninja. That is duality. That is the world of duality. Whenever you see something other than you, multiplicity in this world, that you will always feel that smallness, feel the sense of victimhood, feel that, there's me and then the rest. That feeling is called Dvaitam, that Dvaita Drishti. And then there is another Drishti, there is another vision. What is that? Which is Advaitam. This is what we're learning. Non-duality, the non-dual vision, the one without a second. That it says, despite this duality that you see, despite this multiplicity you see, there is only one reality. That is the vision. So this is what this verse is discussing. It's very highly philosophical. Bhagavan has again come down to more, he's gone to philosophy again, but very beautifully. If you understand what he's trying to say, he says, Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. For all beings, what is night? That is sleep at night. For all beings, what is night? Sleep. And that is ignorance. Okay? Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. This ignorance. So the truth of this non-duality is actually like daylight. But the truth of non-duality is like night for human beings, because they're snoring away to it. They don't see it. That's what he's saying. It's night for them. They cannot see the truth of non-dual reality. That is why Ya Nisha Sarva Bhutanam. It is as good as night for them. They're sleeping through that vision. They're sleeping because they're ignorant. But in that vision, Tasyam Jagarti Sanyami, the Jnani, the enlightened, the wise person is awake to their night, which means he's not ignorant. He knows that it is only one. Despite seeing the multiplicity, despite being in this world, he knows his vision is totally shifted. He knows there is only one, and that one is non-dual self, Brahman. So Sanyami, he's called a Sanyami. He is awake to their night, means he is not ignorant. He is a person who is together with himself and free from any doubts and vagueness. He doesn't have any confusion. I am Atma. There's no confusion like 1 minute, am I Atma? I am Atma. Am I Atma? I am Atma. No, nothing like that. He knows. He's established in his knowledge. Sthita prajna. He knows the truth of himself. So in this verse it said, Yasyam jagrati bhutani. The day when everybody is awake, Yasyam jagrati bhutani. All beings are awake to what? Duality. The day is dual for everybody, all beings. Yasyam jagrati bhutani, they're awake to ignorance. That is what he's saying, Bhagavan. When they're awake, they're ignorant. They think this world is, oh my God, so many names and forms, so many people, so many things, and everybody is different from me. Nobody is me. That is the feeling that we all have, that everything is different. That subject-object division is real. As long as that subject-object division is real, what happens? You remain small. Shastra says you remain small and limited to this much alone. And everything is other than me. And I become very likely, I feel I'm nobody in this world, insignificant me. And there are many people to tell me I'm insignificant as well. So I don't need to feel that myself. Others will also be reinforcing insignificance. But this is not the case for a wise person. He says, Sa nisha pashyato munehe. That is night. This type of thinking is night for the wise. The wise person's mind, this is night for them. They're asleep to this duality. They're asleep to Dvaitam. They're asleep in plurality. For them, it is not real. They don't live as other Ajnanis do. They're only awake to Advaitam. Because he is called Muni here. In this verse, Bhagavan calls him Muni. Very beautiful Sanskrit word, Muni. Mananashilaha is Muni, the one who has discriminative knowledge. He knows what is real in life and what is not real. So what does he realize? What is his vision while he's moving around in this world of duality, of multiplicity? What is his vision? I am the only significant reality here. I am the only significant reality. That is his vision. It is like, I'm taking another text, but beautiful example of the sun given by our rishis. It's given, the sun when it shines, there's a lot of, if you put some pots of water just on the ground, and the sun is shining on the pots of water, some pots of water can be dirty, some clean, some you can see, right? Some are very big pots of water, some small pots of water, but some you can see the reflection of the sun in the water, right? You see the reflection of the sun in the water. Now, is the sun affected by its reflection? If the reflection is disturbed, suppose somebody comes along and shakes the pot and the reflection gets disturbed, is the sun ever affected by what happens to its reflection? It can never be touched by the reflection. Suppose the pot gets cracked. Oh no, leaky pot. The pot gets cracked and it starts leaking water. Does the sun get affected by leaking pot? The sun cannot get touched by the pot. This is exactly what the vision of the Jnani is. He is untouched. He knows he's the sun. He knows everything else is image only of himself. He is the one. His image is in everything, is in everyone. The self, he cannot get touched by the body, mind, senses, all that happens, or even any other thing that happens outside in this world, because he remains the pure witness, just lending existence, light to everything else. So this is the vision that Bhagavan is talking about. That is the freedom that one experiences. He continues to shine. His nature is shining, like the sun. And all of this drama, the pots get moved around, the pots, everything happens to the pots. The water can decrease in one pot, can go up in another pot. One pot could be painted very beautifully, other pot, very ugly pot. One pot, huge 5-liter pot, one pot, little teeny weeny 1 millimeter pot. So many different sizes, different names, different forms, different shapes, sizes. Same sun reflects in all of them. Same rays reflect in all of them. And this is what is called Advaita. There is only one reality. It is one non-dual, and that reality is what this verse is talking about. This wise person sees that reality. So he is free. He is not affected by the reflection.